Everyone and their cow remembers Among Us back in 2020. This game was everywhere. You couldn't scroll YouTube, Twitch, TikTok without seeing it. Everyone was playing it, including your classmate, your teacher, your mom, your dog, and that kind of reach wasn't normal. But then all of a sudden everyone stopped playing it. And I hate how people are acting as if the game just died for no reason at all. But I know for a fact that's not true. Let me explain. The game was released in the year 2018. Yeah, shocking. It was invisible to the whole world. In the first 6 months of its release, the game had 1,000 downloads and fewer than 100 concurrent players. However, its growth wasn't a slow one. In the year 2020, the game suddenly popped off when Twitch streamers like Soda Poppin and PewDiePie started playing it. All these known streamers brought light to the game and it was like free advertisement. And in doing so, a lot of people started downloading it. The game was easy to access as well, with one of the reasons being that the game had a price point of only $5 and it was free to play on mobile with exception for ads. This led to millions of downloads. In August 2020, downloads jumped by 661% compared to the previous month, and September 2020 it had over 85 million downloads on mobile alone. By November 2020, the game had reached a staggering 5 million monthly active players. However, this didn't feel like a polished game. It felt more like a trend, and everyone knows that trends don't last very long. There was another issue with the gameplay. The game idea itself was solid. You and a bunch of your friends are put in a spaceship to complete tasks, but with a catch. You had an imposter amongst you whose goal was to kill everyone on that ship. That part is simple, but the game was very repetitive. A lot of people found that doing the same task over and over again became boring. Though the game was fun, it slowly began to fade. Now, a lot of people don't even know this, but the game was made by 3 people. While the game had 500 million players, the development team behind the game was still just 3 people, 1 programmer and 2 artists. They weren't a massive studio like Epic Games or Activision. They could not just hire 100 people overnight. The weight of the world was on their shoulders. There's a human element here people tend to forget. These 3 creators aren't just developers anymore. They were the targets of millions of angry comments. Every day they didn't release a new map, they were called lazy. Every time a hacker ruined a lobby, it was their fault. In interviews, the team admitted they were burnt out and miserable. They weren't enjoying the millions of dollars because they were working 15 hours a day just to fix a broken game that was never meant to be this big. It took them 6 months to release the airship map. By the time it came out, the hype had already died. When Among Us was built in the year 2018, it was designed to be a tiny game for 30 to 50 people. The code was spaghetti, messy, fragile, and not meant for millions. Because the code was so bad, adding one new heart or a map would often break the game. In the late 2020, they actually announced Among Us 2 because it was easier to build a new game than fix an old one. However, because everyone was playing the first game, they felt bad and cancelled the sequel to focus on the original. This was a massive mistake. It meant that they had to spend months cleaning old code instead of adding new content. By the time they started doing something about adding new content, people had already left. But there is still something that is being overlooked. There was no progression system. The thing that would make you want to come back tomorrow. No ranks, no rewards, no long-term goals. You play a match, it ends, and that was it. Compared to games with progression system, this was a big area the game was lacking in. It was only meant for hanging out with friends, something to do when you're bored. Being that you couldn't go visit your friend literally because of COVID. Anyways, the truth of the matter is that this game was carried entirely by COVID. This is one of the main reasons it reached an abnormal massive audience. On COVID, probably one of the best years of my life, and rest in peace for those people who died, everyone on the planet was on their phones and were locked up in their houses with nothing to do. Among Us came and broke the boredom, and this game was perfect. You could talk to your friends, laugh, argue, feel like you're hanging out. It wasn't just a game. It was something to fill the emptiness we had in ourselves. It had a huge impact on us gamers, and it deserves to be on the wall of fame. At least now we know the truth behind its downfall. It was sad to see it lose almost 90% of its player base. At this point, we can't really point fingers to who was at fault for the downfall of the game. I'm just showing you all the factors that led to the game's downfall. We know the development team did everything in their power to try and save the game, but it was inevitable. It's just how things are. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Now.